Kasisi to win it. Kasisi does win it.
Your mission is unacceptable.
It's been an extraordinary afternoon of football, and Geelong know they're done now.
Round 21, 2007. It's the last time an away side sung their song at the Skilled Stadium Fortress. Loads up from 30. There's a whole lot of love in the room.
Nice kick. Nice goal.
Speaking of enjoying himself from the pocket. That is as good as it gets.
Easy as you like for the pot.
4 years down the track, it's Sydney who face Mission Impossible.
Goods, side steps, gonna have this dance.
And should they choose to accept it,
Doubled out.
they need to hit the road and take down the Cat Empire.
In and out of trouble and gets it on the boot. He's proven himself to be a goal kicker.
Take self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yes, indeed. I wonder if it is Mission Impossible for the Swans today. No team has come to Skilled Stadium and taken the 4 points away from the home side for 4 long years. The Swans are coming off a good win over the Saints last week, but you just feel they'll need to find another gear today. Well, Brad Johnson casting his eye over proceedings today. I think as far as football goes in winter, players couldn't ask for a better day conditions-wise.
Fantastic day here at Skilled Stadium. Sun's poking in and out of the clouds, but the ground conditions are just first class.
You can hear the noise. That means that the Cats have entered the arena. Very popular down here. The spectators expect to come and win every week, and they have for the last 4 years. You know, almost any other year they'd be sitting comfortably on top with an 18-2 record. They'll have to be content with the second place in the home and away season this year. But we should remember they beat the Swans up in Sydney by 27 points back in round 4. A very short price favourite today. They're going to be hard to beat the Cats.
They certainly will. You look through their lineup. Harry Taylor has just had a fantastic year. Matches well now with Scarlett and Lonigan playing some good football in the defensive half. Brad Ottens, he's the key today. One of the keys today with some midfield. Their strength is very good. Be interesting to see whether they play Varco, named at half forward. Last time they played down here, played on half back and had 30 disposals, pumped the ball inside 50 10 times as well. So he may fluctuate between forward and back today.
Interesting naming the 3 talls forward, West, Hawkins and also Pottiardi. He's the most imposing presence up forward for the Cats.
He certainly is. You look at versus Adelaide, 22 disposals, 9 marks, probably the most disposals Pods has had in a game, but his ability to compete was right up there, got on the scoreboard as well, and he loves playing here at Skill because he normally kicks 4 or 5.
Yeah, he certainly made it a very comfortable home patch of turf, hasn't he? He'll be looking for plenty of support from those other tools. As we mentioned, Hawkins needs a big game to consolidate his final spot. West and Ottens at different stages. The 2 big ruckmen will certainly spend time forward. But what about the Swans lineup? Look, they just keep finding ways to win. They find ways to get in the finals, but they're going to have to be at their very best today to even run Geelong close.
Oh, certainly. It was the leaders last week that stood up, especially in that last quarter. Kennedy was fantastic in the middle of the ground. Himself and Mumford are starting to get a very good combination together. O'Keefe started to find a bit of footy again, as did Adam Goods. His match-up on Fisher was tight all day. He broke free in the last quarter. Shaw's run out of defence, though, was first class, and he was able to set them up a fair bit.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? Rhys Shaw's had another excellent year for Sydney since moving north and really has become one of their key players. At different stages, he's even been tossed forward and kicked them a couple of goals, but you love the way he rebounds out of defence.
Yeah, certainly. And he's usually, the last few weeks as well, been matched up with one of the better players for the opposition, and he's able to get off and create, which is so important as a tagger because you need to have that positive influence on the contest as well.
Well, that was the first goal of the game last week, which caused a little bit of surprise.
Well, they kicked 7 points after that.
Now, unfortunately, he was the only one that could find the big sticks early. But we're going to put our coaches' hats on now, Jono, and I'll put the Sydney coach's hat on, and the things that I think they need to focus on today, stoppages first and foremost. We know they've got Big Mummy in pretty good form, but they've got to deny Geelong first use of the footy. Otherwise, I think their defence is going to be under too much pressure. I think they've got to convert. I mean, if they kick anywhere near as badly as last week, they'll get blown out of this game. They get an opportunity, they have to take it. And the other one's pretty obvious. Adam Goods, he's the match winner. He's the X factor that can actually do some things to break open the game. All the Sydney players have to find a way to get him into the game.
They certainly do. And as we flip over now and have a look at the keys for the Cats, look, the first one is so important for them, and it's been a key all year, is the time in their forward half. 56% of game time is spent in the forward line for the Cats. So you can see that's why the influence of Johnson and the like down there love playing, especially here at Skilled Stadium, because they just dominate in that area. Wojo's run last time they met, kicked 3 against the Swans, had 34 running bounces, double that of any other Cat out there. And when you mentioned Mumford, Ottens is the key for Geelong today. He needs to get involved in the game early, give his midfielders first use of the ball, and get involved in some scoring chains as well.
Really looking forward to that clash. Big Shane Mumford taking on Brad Ottens. It's going to be a beauty. All set to go here at Skilled Stadium. It's Geelong hosting Sydney. Join us for the first bounce on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to Skilled Stadium. Round 23 clash, second last round of the home and away season of 2011, and a critical match between the Sydney Swans and Geelong. Swans boys getting together, wearing the black armbands today as we head downstairs to Liam Pickering. Welcome to you, Liam.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Conditions pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit swirly, the wind down here, but conditions normally are pretty good down here. Look, it's interesting. The Swans, I watched them last week. Very, very good, I thought, against St Kilda for 4 quarters. Key players today, they need a good start because the Cats, as we know, nearly unbeatable down here. They'll need a good start. One key player is Mumford. He really needs to take control of Ottens in the ruck.
Absolutely. And Goods is going to be the other big one. There is the mummy on screen back home. 21 games for the Cats. But he's in all-Australian form. His game last week against St Kilda was simply inspirational. And the Swans, they've had a tough week. We know the story. Jared McVeigh and his wife grieving the passing of their baby daughter, Luella. And all the Sydney players wearing black armbands. And in a nice gesture, all the Geelong players also wearing black armbands today to show their respect. So the footy community is one, showing their respect for the McVeigh's family in their time of grieving. They've won the past 29 games in a row here, the Cats. It's been an amazing run. As the boys said on the intro, they last lost here 4 years and 1 day ago. It was the corresponding round in 2007, the second last round of the AFL season, when Port Adelaide beat them here on August 26. 2 premierships, a second and a third in the past 4 seasons. They have been a powerhouse team, and they're not showing any signs of stopping in the near future. They are finals bound again in 2011. And for the Sydney Swans, it's simple. Win today, they are also in finals in 2011, and they know it. Packed house. Fantastic crowd. Barely a spare seat to be seen. And because the Cats are on an unbelievable run, they're going to be knocking down more grandstands and enhancing the capacity here to 40,000 in a couple of years.
Just saw young Alex Johnson set the big job on Tom Hawkins, giving away plenty of size and weight there.
Cameron Ling won the toss, kicking to the left of the screen in the opening term. We're underway. And Wachinski, the clearance. Hawkins on the move, got it, good start.
And you just saw him use his strength to hold front position there against the lighter Johnson.
Floats it up a bit, top of the square, just over the head of West. Stokes, caught, West, tap down, short, but in good form, loses that. Kelly, kick smothered by Hanbury, back in, hands it to Matner. Hanbury, backtracks O'Keefe. Hanbury all the way back to Teddy Richards, coming off the game of his life last week against Rewalt. Out of sight, Spanger, tough battle, Enright, Jimmy Bartell. Menzel gets his first touch, and it's a little too wide, and we'll get a ball in. So a late inclusion for the Swans. Ty Kennelly wasn't listed to play. Nick Malcheski out. There's a late exclusion for Sydney. Geelong essentially as named.
Harry Taylor and Adam Goods, that'll be a great matchup.
Great matchup, that one.
Good 15, 16 players around this ball. No one can get it out, and we'll get another ball up. The umpires today, Matthew Nichols about to bounce this. Jason Armstrong and Michael Vozzo.
What's wrong, boys?
You can hear a pin drop. Ottens in the tie-up with Mumford. Chapman, Bartell, sidestep, wobbler, little tap on Stokes. Stevie J had it knocked away. Shaw, outside of the boot, hacks it towards the wing. Reed can't get there, neither can Lonergan. And another ball in.
It's only been just over a minute or so, but the ball's only been at one end of the ground, and that's a little bit of a concern, even though there's no score on the
back sides. Mumford again wins it down. Jude Bolton just getting a kick away. Down on the full, it'll be Geelong's ball, so it won't be over halfway for long. Jimmy Bartell, who, as we heard in the intro, and we said a few weeks ago, he's agreed to a new deal to stay here, but hasn't actually signed on the dotted line yet. But a new 3-year deal, which is great news. Hunt puts it up long. And West, Hawkins stayed down and caught him in. Gee, that was great teamwork. Two big men playing essentially inside 50, and they looked at each other in the eye and thought, OK, we'll work this out between us.
Yeah, and they've got all their big blokes out on the ground to start with. Otten's in the ruck, West is playing forward, Hawkins is playing forward, Podsiadly playing forward. So they're going to be a little bit undersized, the City defence, and on that occasion, Ted Richards, he just couldn't get up to the rarefied air that Trent West took the ball in.
It'll be interesting to see how the conditions play a part in that, Jason. Go through all the tools, but it is a really tricky breeze out here.
5th game of the year for Trent West, back into the team this week. It's his chance to prove that he's in their best 22, and that's a good way of proving it.
Well, you're right, and that's the luxury of Geelong with the ladder position they do have, the fact that they can put all the bigs out there just to see if it will work today or not. But the disappointing thing for the Sydney in that passage of play was Josh Hunt was basically able to walk into that hole on centre wing there. His direct opponent certainly zoned off into a hole. Need to man up, put more pressure through the middle of the ground so they can't get that long ball in deep to these tall forwards.
Ted Richards, who, as we mentioned, did a fantastic job on Nick Riewoldt last week.
Already they've shuffled their defence, Sydney. It looks like Grundy's gone on to Hawkins, and now Johnson goes on to Podsiadly as he comes up to the true centre-half forward position. Jude
Bolton tried to get a kick away, was slung, dropped it, no free, that's too high, and it'll be Kelly's ball. So things going to plan for the Cats early. Ottens sprints away from Mumford. Can put it to the square if he wants to, and he wants to. Podsiadly down there, thumped away. Shaw just overran it. Varco hasn't kicked a goal for a couple of weeks, doesn't kick one here. Richards squeezes that wide. Hunt got there, takes it out.
Well, it was good play by Brad Ottens. Mumford caught up in the tackle, seen that the Cats were going to get a free kick and spread extremely well on the 45 from the contest.
Double change. Joel Selwood coming on for the Cats. McGlynn wrapped up, slung by West. Hanbury got it out. Bartell. Menzel, centering kick. Past Johnson. Smith gets there first. Johnson of the Sydney variety. Had the handball through legs, then Goods. Caught, dispossessed. Selwood just on. Surely got one but too high. Been a lot of talk about how many free kicks he draws. For some reason, people want to smack him around the ear. When he was tackleable at the waist then.
Yep. And Adam Goods had pushed well upfield trying to get involved in the play because he was getting starved of possession. Just couldn't handle it cleanly. And then the right arm catching Selwood over the shoulder.
In the hot ticket, Adam Goods. They've given away one here. As mentioned, just off the bench and sprays it. There's Joel Selwood.
Well, Pickers was telling us before the game, Jace, that it's left post down that end.
Yep.
That they need to aim for to have any chance of it going through.
Shaw. Richards bumped on the kick and it sits. Ling has to go for it. Mark dropped by Jack. Plays a tackle. Comes out to Bartell. Another possession. Just pops it inside 50. Hanbury got there first. Read it well. Matner. No one to go to really. Just puts it out to the wing in hope. Enright gets there first. The gather. Hand past Spanger. Mackie also back into the team this week. Chapman, Selwood, pumps it long. Ottens resting forward now. Podsiadly, hand on it, and he spent that before it earned it. He knew what he wanted to do. Give it to Steve Johnson. Richards gets them out of a bind. Rowan just on, uses his body and feeds back onto it. Local boy from Compton takes off and runs.
He can go all the way.
He knows where they are here. He played all his junior footy here for the Falcons. Kicks toward goal, and that is splendid. This kid is good.
That's a sensational passage of play, and the best thing was he knew as soon as he struck the ball it was going through. He was off and celebrating. He just backed his pace. He takes it on the defensive side of the wing, Chapman can't go with him. He stumbled. Mackie couldn't pick him up. No one was chasing. In the end, Scarlett had to come and at least make him think about kicking the ball earlier than having another bounce, but a beautiful kick on the run. That's a sensational finish, and you deserve a celebration like that.
Well, he was fantastic last week. Come on as a sub and was a spark as well in that last quarter, creating some fantastic run for the Sydney Swans. And he could have kept going there, Jace, but decided to have a shot from 50 and great finish. Tell you what, they'll make sure they won't give him that space in front of himself next time he goes, because he is real quick.
Flick down, Bartel through traffic. O'Keefe extracts it, Spanger caught behind. Reid tried to knock it up. Taylor threw that out, Lonigan. Mackie, Selwood, and suddenly the Cats are under some pressure. Enright, half back. Squeeze that, Burns, knocked away from him. Get a ball in.
Got a feeling, Jace, Jesse White is playing purely a defensive role on Matty Scarlett. A few times he's had the opportunity to leave and put some pressure on, but will not leave Matty Scarlett's side.
McGlynn floats that to the top of the square. Reid got a hand on it. Jesse White breaks free, strong arms. Handball up, Brown, he could sidestep and kick another. He rolls it toward full forward. Spanger had an arm around his neck, no free. Ling pumps it away. Steve Johnson stolen from him by Joel Selwood. Caught, but didn't dispose of it legally. No, free kick pushing the back. Okay.
Sure why they didn't tackle him then.
No, and just executed it poorly. Pickers, I agree, had him cold and let him off the hook.
Kelly somehow found some space. Stokes, a little man inside 50, manhandled off it by the late inclusion Ty Kennelly. Grundy, tapped away by Varco. Gathers just inside the line. Dances his way around Shaw. Tries to spear a pass. Richards to his own advantage. Grabbed by Podsy Yardley, free.
Well, his job last week on Nick Riewoldt was sensational. He's got another big job today.
I mean, that's just clumsy, isn't it, really? You look at that. I mean, two blokes could have actually tackled him then.
Jack to Goods. Kennedy. He starred against Geelong in round 4, 29 possessions, and that's 50. He's going to have a shot from the top of the square. In fact, this 50 may take him inside the goal square, which means he'll be on no angle. See where the umpire backtracks here. Oh, yep, just outside the square.
Doesn't make much difference.
No, it won't make any difference at all. But this is for the lead. Cats have owned the ball for the first 5.5 minutes, but 10 minutes in, Swans are in front.
Well, a better start by the Swans. Their conversion is certainly up at this stage of the game. 2 straight. We'll see if it is actually 50 metres here. Ling got him by the arm, push off. Yes, put the ball out of his hands there. So great call by the field umpire and made it just an easy conversion for Sydney on that occasion.
Just silly, Cameron Ling, wasn't it?
Yeah, didn't need to do it.
Kennedy really would have been no chance from where he was. Coming in, he kicked 9 goals, 18 for the year. Josh Kennedy, he was having a horrendous run. So from the top of the square, you're a lot better off. And it's game on. Ottens, Joel Selwood tries to pull a free for too high, doesn't get this one. McGlynn, Joel Selwood again. Can't shuffle the handball out. McGlynn does. To Goods, got his arms free. Knocks it down, McGlynn. Third touch in this string, gets it for too high. They're about to go into attack again. Reid leads, that's ignored. Cats flooding players back now. Shortish pass. Jude Bolton, no free. Josh Kennedy again. Back to McGlynn. 4th possession in this attack forward, and he's done for ball. Selwood. Scarlett. Turner, almost turnover. Stokes short. West. Stokes. And now the turnover. Kennelly. Richards. Again, Reid manhandled, but still gets there to take a great mark. Maybe too far out to score, realises it. Spanger. He's the go-to man. Knocks it away from Hart. Cats with the numbers. Kelly. Taylor. Mackie. West.
Trouble here.
3 men on the outer side. Scarlett's got Lachinsky, and he loves to get and go. Has a bounce, sizes up the big stick from 40. Cats are back in front.
It was a switch of direction from Maggie back into the middle of the ground that opened up the options for the Cats. It's that kick to Steve Johnson, to Trent West, I should say. But all of a sudden, the options opened up. Scarlett linked up with Wojcinski. They had the runner, they had the extra overlap, and no one was going to catch Wojcinski once he set sail for goal. And a good finish on the run.
Been the biggest improvement in his game this year, without doubt, is his finishing skills. Especially his last month, he's had a few opportunities like that to run into goal and kick from 35-40 and hasn't missed.
Another good bounce. Jesse White in the ruck now. Hanbury spins out of some trouble. Sure, no prior opportunity there, so it'll be a ball up.
It's a different role for Benny McGlynn today, running with Joel Selwood. It's a massive ask, isn't it? Normally plays that half forward that'll come up the ground and at stages run as the fifth midfielder, but he looks like he's got the full-time job on Joel Selwood.
Good, took it out of the air. White, no prior opportunity. Should be a ball up again.
This is where Geelong will be looking to take some sort of advantage with Ottens up against Jesse White in the ruck contest.
Straight back. Play on.
Third man up, Podsiadly. McGlynn. Caught, throws it out. White. Jack ducked out of a tackle and he has Shaw running for him. This looks good for the Swans. They've got some one-on-ones. Which one-on-one does he want? Parker back into the team this week. Trucks Wojcinski. Pumps it long, goes to the square instead to Reed. Knocked down. Enright got there first. And Varco, he can gather and go. Fantastic handball to space.
Loose players running forward. All they've got to do is be clean with their use of the footy.
Kelly, Ottens, Varco, Stokes. That's as clean as it gets.
Yeah. Well, he was loose running through the back of the square towards centre half forward. Then he just cut across to the flank when he saw which side the ball was coming down, and an uncontested possession. That's so quick the turnover from deep in attack. All of a sudden, they're conceding a shot for goal at the other end in a matter of seconds.
They missed the option of Goods at centre half forward there. The ball should have been squared up.
Breeze right at his back here, Matthew Stokes. 70% at goal. It's kicked 25 goals. Was going to be 11, but it's 12 now for the year.
That's where the Swans need to hit that one of Adam Goods that Picker's picked up. You've got to lower their eyes because Geelong love to get back on that high ball, outnumber the opposition, and you can see the result, how quickly they can get it down the other end and have a scoring opportunity.
Sure. Pumps it to the outer side. Spanger needs to go. Doesn't get there to make a contest, and ball rolls out of play and will get a ball in. Not a bad way of bringing it in from behind, get it all the way to the wing without anybody else bothering to touch it.
Just on that point, I mean, Joe made, it's one of the most important score sources in the game is turnovers. And against the really good teams, the top lines like Geelong, they make you pay every time.
Two ruckmen dance together, Kennedy and Ling. Ling picks it up, gives to Ottens. And just got, no, it wasn't a handball, it was a throw. Free kick Mumford. Wants to play on quickly. Parker's outside. Uses some toe. Keeps it low. White. Good grab. He was errant at goal early last week, but he got it to work late. Jesse White. Line up for his first shot in game 50. He's a bit of a Trojan horse. He's a man mountain up there. Draws a lot of attention without being the one that actually kills you. Bends that back a bit. Not enough. 16 minutes gone. Opening term. 14-13, and the crowd a little pensive at the moment. Johnson heads wide. Menzel took the steps. I had to go. Jude Bolton cuts it off. Hands it back to Spanger. Can have the shot from the paint. Not bad off the boot. Just drifting a little. Hunt got there. Took the mark. Still the Cats by a point. Chapman. Johnson. Getting back inside defensive 50 a bit in this opening term. Sits that a little. Enright good enough to make it his. And here they come into the corridor to play on quickly.
Yep. They love it when they can get it through the middle.
Burns back to Johnson, calling for Leeds to come at him. Knocked over on the kick, and it was on the kick. No free kick downfield. Stokes, chance to gather and go on his own. Varco feeding into the pocket. The ball eludes him initially. He tries to do something spectacular. Didn't quite work. We'll get a ball in.
You mentioned Jesse White just catching Steve Johnson as he kicked the ball. I'm not sure if Johnson saw him. He was so busy looking for options up forward, he nearly just ran straight into him as he kicked.
Stokes went heavily in high by his own man. But the umpire said it was Johnson, and he'll have the shot at goal. I mentioned earlier, normally a sharpshooter.
He missed one moments ago. He'll certainly be keen to make amends now.
And not just 70% this year, he's 70% for his whole career, which is hard to maintain that kind of scoring rate.
Well, that's unlucky because the initial bump was okay, and then he turned and actually went down with his head into Johnson, who was just there.
There's that left to right that he predicted on the kick, but it came so late and he kept it so low. Mattner this time. He's playing the outer side. The breeze is blowing to that side. Reed crashed the pack, took it down. Spanger shoots a handball up. Jude Bolton, a bounce kindly for him, and he's away. Goods at half forward. Gets back. Taylor knocks it down though. Scarlett, they combine so well.
Oh, look at Podgiadli on his own if they can switch it.
West takes them on with some run. Chapman, Menzel, Ling, just in time. A bouncer inside 50. Johnson tries to flick on. Kelly almost fed onto it. Alex Johnson handed it up. Smith, did he have prior? Was he tackled properly? He was caught and bumped and dumped and simply dropped the ball. Umpire Vozzo would have balled up.
Well, we mentioned before the game, Jace, about the time in forward half, and has spent a lot in Geelong's in the first quarter so far. You look at inside 50s, 12-8, but it's their contested possession. That's why, and it's that competitive nature that they've all got, is why the ball continues to stay locked in their forward end.
Yeah, not sure there was any prior opportunity there for Nick Smith.
Selwood dropped the mark. Gang tackled now by Glenn and Jude Bolton. He has had a pretty good season again, Ben McGlynn, every game this year, and as good as his first season with Sydney was last year. Actually on track for better numbers, just 14 games and 23 goals last year, and has played every game and 27 goals this year. Been a good contributor. Here he is on cue, lays a tackle on Chapman again with some assistance from Jude Bolton. Ball up.
What would be pleasing for John Longmire and the coaching staff in Sydney is they've got nearly 20 minutes in the first quarter. We know the Cats are normally a very good first quarter team, but I think the Cats are kicking with probably a goal or two breeze, so they've held pretty well here, the Swans.
West bumps Mumford. They both go to ground. Smith gathers the ball. O'Keefe, Alex Johnson, Spanger, contest. Mackey right with him. Boundary line looming and content to take it across. Mackey gets his chance at a rest. He's had a rest for a couple of weeks, as I said, back into the team. Had the bye and a week off before that. Selwood to the open side. Enright, he can go. Lead from Podgiadli, that's ignored. He goes longer. Hawkins, got it.
Too strong for Grundy. Yeah, well, we spoke about that strength when Alex Johnson lined up on it initially. He won the first contest there. Then Grundy went on to him, and it was just a good kick to advantage. All he had to do was hold Grundy off while the ball was coming to the open side. And we know he's a big brute of a man. He certainly did that. A really good kick to his advantage.
So all the big boys playing for the Cats this week. Tom Hawkins back into the lineup. Nathan Vardy out for the season, so Hawkins the front runner to keep his spot. That bends with that breeze, but not enough.
Gee, they're wasting some opportunities. It was Sydney who were dreadful in front of goal last week. This time it's Geelong not making the most of their control of the first quarter.
So ticked into time on, 21 minutes gone opening term. Shaw gets it back again. Could have given back to Richards, ignores that. Parker edged under it. And right, clever. Experience. Tried to keep it low, and that was poor. Straight into Parker. Enright, one of those players who hitting 30, fact, on grand final day, the Cats could have 7 30-year-olds playing for them if they get there this year, which would be an amazing number of 30-year-olds. To have 7 in the lineup would have to be a record. Selwood. West knocked away from him. Podsiadly, one of those 30-year-olds, hands it up. Menzel attacks it. Misses Podsiadly. Ottens, another 30-year-old. He can't pick it up. Ling, another one of their 30-pluses. Jumps in, and he did tell us pre-game that he intends to play next year. Cameron Ling, keep the captaincy. Thinks his body's going okay. Has another year in it. Just good news for
What's behind me, all right?
the locals. Cats by 3 points. Ottens the flick down. Kelly lays a tackle. O'Keefe no prior.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ben Joel, straight to the ball.
Good straight out. All right, what's behind me?
I don't reckon I've ever seen quite a crowd at the moment.
No, they're not quite sure what to make of it, Piggers, probably because they've missed those early opportunities and they're not dominating the way they're used to.
Having 10 goals on the board by now.
Jack to Kennelly. Just the required 15 to Hanbury. How wide? Ty Kennelly playing for his footy life. Back into the team, and there's speculation as to whether he's going to go on next year. Stokes, a wobbler. Johnson can see this out, and we'll get a ball in. We'll talk about the crowd kind of not expecting this. The last 2 games that Geelong have won here have been by 186 points and by 150 points.
No wonder they're shell-shocked.
That's right.
Well, they've had 15 to 8 inside 50s, and it's 2 goals apiece.
Yeah, they've been parties. The last 2 wins here over Melbourne and the Gold Coast. Kennedy couldn't break free. Jack, gang tackled, not going anywhere. So the crowd could be in for a close one for a change.
I don't profess to be any sort of expert on body language, but just watching the Cats in their warm-up today, they just looked a little bit off their game to me, a little bit flat.
Well, that's the second week in a row because Jared Healy picked up exactly the same thing in Adelaide 2 weeks ago.
Well, we know what happened in that game.
Shaw long. Knocked down by Hunt. Rowan gets a chance. Jude Bolton couldn't grab it. Hunt grabs it back again. Turnover. Bartell, O'Keefe, Jude Bolton. Gary Rowan again. He can size them up from 50. Takes on the tacklers. Was dacked. O'Keefe, he had no prior opportunity, so that can't be ball. The crowd want ball, but just because your teammate had prior opportunity doesn't mean that you get pinged if you get it handed straight to you.
Well, Gary Rowan had to take them on there, got tackled because he had to kick quickly. It was Scarlett sitting in the goal square by himself. Try to change his run, which is what you need to do against the Cats.
And the Cats hope you have that quick kick forward. They pounce on that so well. Start their turnovers from defence and just run you all the way home. Now, this is a good start for the Swans, even though they're not in front. 25 minutes gone, and they've established the fact that they're well and truly in this contest. Ottens, front spot. Cameron Ling to the wing. Hawkins just misread it slightly. Stokes had some room to move, and now Varco, he can get and go. A couple of Swans around him. Teddy, he can stick the line. Varco keeps it alive. Chapman,
Really good.
Podsiadly, really good.
See, the great players don't get rushed when they make their decisions. He just jockeyed for a little bit of time and he waited for an option to open up and then chipped it almost untouched to Podsiadly, who gets a good shot at the goal now. Just so cool under pressure. Chapman's the sort of player you'd love to have in your side.
Should just start this slightly left. Let it feed left to right as you're watching it at home.
Well, everyone else that starts at left, it stays left.
Yes, true. But he's a little further out.
Yeah.
The ball tends to move late on a long kick. And he didn't start that left. And it's all right, if you know what I mean. It's not all right. It's a behind.
There might have been a chance if it had been Buddy Franklin kicking it. He gets him to go that way.
So Shaw, who's been playing on from the kick-ins and then running and kicking long, does likewise again. He's held up to Teddy, the 1-2, the 1-2-3, Grundy. And they come to the side they didn't really want to come to. Spanger, good lead, good grab.
It was actually the right side to come to because they had an extra number out there. Spanger was loose. They had 3 on 2. It's now what they can make of it going forward. It's been a little bit slow moving the footy.
Goods attacks this hard. Gets the jump. Reed back into him. Jack tried to extract the little handball. Down to 2 minutes. Huge tackle. And the Swans can sense they're in it right now too.
Thanks, James.
Kelly gets to his feet. 4-point lead to the Cats. Flick down, Jude Bolton. O'Keefe. Goods. And he may have got Enright a little high there. Bartel as the play on call comes. Selwood. Not paid the mark, kick smothered. Finally gets the kick away, but it's to Alex Johnson. Doesn't want to come inboard. But the number's wide. Meredith also back into the lineup this week, and he can put the Swans in front at quarter time. Brett Meredith.
Paul Chapman put the hands up and said, what was that for? He must have cribbed over and not come back when asked to by the umpire.
Just his third game of the year, Brett Meredith. We've talked about Jared McVeigh not playing today. They've got a couple that have been unable to front up. Nick Malcheski, another. And this gives Brett Meredith a huge opportunity for the lead. And he hits that sweet. Straight through the middle. Swans by 2 points.
I think the disappointing thing from a Geelong perspective is 2 of the 3 Sydney goals have come from 50-metre penalties. That's just a lack of discipline. Let's have a look at Paul Chapman. He just jogs up. Well, he wasn't there in the initial marking contest, so as soon as you step over where the umpire perceives the mark to be, it's going to be an instant 50, and that's what he's copped. Technical. You didn't like it, Jono?
Pretty tough, very tough on that one.
It's been a year since the Cats have trailed here at quarter time. We've talked a bit about the fact that it's been 4 years since they've lost here. 29 wins in a row at Skilled Stadium. With 1 minute 24 left on the clock. Swans are looking good. McGlynn takes off. Top of the square again. Reid gets the jump. Not quite the second grab. Tries to knock it to his own advantage. Jesse White, boundary line there, takes it across.
So they'll be pleased with the start, Sydney. John Long might be thrilled with that. There's a great leap from Trent West. Just missed the tap down to Selwood, and his opponent, Ben McGlynn, gets the inside 50.
Mumford knocks it down. Johnson and Menzel both there. Rowan ridden a little. All up. In front of the Swans faithful. That's their corner, their pocket for the travelling fans. Pocket of red and white. Knocked down. Jude Bolton gets it out. Mumford tries to extract a handball. Bartel bump. Couldn't get rid of it properly. Again a gang tackle. Seconds continue to roll. Bartel, he rolls it. Outside 50. And we'll get a ball in with 42 seconds left on the clock.
It has been a somewhat lethargic first quarter from Geelong. You get the feeling they're waiting for it to happen. They expect it to happen, but no one is actually getting out there and making it happen.
Well, Sydney win, they're in. The finals, they lose, different story altogether. They could miss out. Big game for them. Hack back inside 50. Off hands, free kick. It'll be Harry Taylor's ball. Good says give it back. Last week's indiscretion is stuck in his memory. Harry Taylor makes it tough for Andrew Mackie. And it's not the Cats of old at the moment. Podsiadly the target. Richards knocks it down. No free to Podsiadly. Crowd 1-on-1. Mumford to McGlynn. Low trajectory kick. Cut off by Lonergan. Back to Harry Taylor. 10 seconds and counting. Time enough for a turnover, but not a Cats score. Parker jumps. Knocked down. Enright cuts it off. Just gets away with it down to 2 seconds. And it's quarter time at Skilled Stadium. And the locals don't quite understand it. Their boys are not in front for the first time in a year. Sydney 3-1-19. Geelong 2-5-17. Richards gets them out of the bind. Rowan Jusson uses his body and feeds back onto it. Local boy from Compton takes off and runs.
Go all the way.
He knows where they are here. He's played all his junior footy here for the Falcons. Kicks towards goal. That is splendid. This kid is good. Quarter time at Skilled Stadium. It's 2nd versus 7th on the AFL ladder. And Geelong at the moment playing like a team that has its top 3 spots sewn up. Sydney Swans playing like a team that desperately needs a win to play in the finals in 2011. 2-point lead to the Swans at quarter time as we head downstairs to welcome back a man who is on the honour board here at Skilled Stadium, the 1997 Geelong B&F, Liam Pickering.
Yeah, Dwayne, it was a really good start by the Sydney Swans, as you mentioned, and I think the first time they went inside 50, or it was the first time they went in, Gary Rowan, I'd call him a press breaker. He's the sort of bloke you don't want to get goal side, and we have a look at this. A bit of a competition for the ball on the centre on the centre wing, and then he goes. Now, ahead of him is just space. Now, there are blokes who can finish, there are blokes with speed, and have a look at it all unfolds for him. And obviously the Geelong defender wanted to stay on his man till the last moment, but that was a wonderful goal. And Gary Rowan's an important player in this game. We saw him last week against the Sydney Swans. And just not to be outdone, the Cats got one of their oldest players, but also what I consider a press breaker as well, into space in David Wojcinski. Now again, once you get players with real leg speed like this, and they've got all that space in front of them, they can be really dangerous. So 2 players to keep an eye on in that second quarter. They're both very good in the first quarter.
Yeah, good call, Pickers. That was one of the things you highlighted before the game, Jono. Wojo's run.
I did, and his Pickers coming up with some new terminology there. Press breaker. I haven't heard that one yet.
Very good.
I'll let you use it. I've got to put a patent on it first.
It'll be interesting to see what sort of response we get from Geelong in the second term. They were wasteful, looked a little bit lethargic in the first term. I dare say Chris Scott would have had a few well-chosen words just to get their minds back on the job. Part of it, obviously, due to a great start by Sydney. Let's see what Geelong can answer with now.
The Cats can end the home and away season with the same amount of wins and losses as Collingwood, but they can't win the minor premiership. Collingwood's percentage is just too big, even if Geelong beats Collingwood next week. Poor bounce to start this second term. But Geelong can slip to third and Hawthorn up to second, but the difference is nothing at all because there is no difference between second and third. They'll meet in the first week of the finals at the G. Johnson takes off, hands it up to Chapman, spins it around the body. Not bad off the boot, but it doesn't bend enough. It's marked on the line or behind. It's behind, according to Chelsea Roffey, who knows her stuff.
Good call by the boundary umpire. Then Chelsea was blinded by a couple of bodies.
And that's a mark, I think. I don't think the whole ball was over the line then.
Yeah. Okay, so the boundary umpire got it wrong.
Wasn't a good call by the boundary umpire.
Sure.
It was a confident call by the boundary umpire.
Yes, it was.
Lonergan the reach. Nick Smith the crumb. White, good hands. Might be a good battle that between he and Matty Scarlett. He's got some reach on him. To Spanger at half forward. Harry Taylor, palm on it. Bartell called out. No free.
It really wasn't a good kick from Jesse White. You've got Spanger leading towards the boundary. You've got to kick it boundary side of him and his opponent at the time, which was Harry Taylor. And unfortunately had to stop and prop. Never a chance of marking it.
Mumford the flick down to Goods. Hasn't really had an impact yet. That's a good spot. White lurking, almost. Tried to mark it on his chest and kicks the goal regardless.
Well, that's why Sydney are in this game at the moment. Their clearance work again has been very, very good. They're leading that area 14-10. And this one just a clear clearance to Sydney through Adam Goods. Great tap by Mumford. And Jesse White just competed, got front position, worked extremely hard for front position on his direct opponent in Matty Scarlett. Was able then to get a great second effort and kick another goal for Sydney.
th game for Jesse White today.
Thanks, boys.
Up against one of the all-time great fullbacks. 7-point lead to Sydney, their biggest lead of the game. The crowd a little restless. Ottens knocks it down. Goods to his own advantage, place for a free. Shaw, Slick to Jack to Hanbury. Ball eludes Spanger. Enright. Tiny fumble. Floats one wide. Goods read it well.
This is important that Adam Goods is getting into the game. It was pretty quiet the first quarter. Should be his third touch for this quarter.
Reed the target. Lonergan with him. Had the reach. Knocked it out of play. Lonergan, one of those players, hasn't played on a flag for the Cats, Tom Lonergan. Matty Scarlett's played in a couple. There's a few Geelong players out there that want to make this their year because they haven't been involved in previous seasons. Mumford knocks it down. Kennedy tied up by Ling. Holding the ball. didn't try hard enough, according to the umpire.
Making a genuine attempt.
So the Mayor
Play on.
sticks to the outer side. Oddsy Adley up. And Johnson could claim that mark. He got the fist on it. Oddsy Adley says that he touched it. Been a good player this year, Alex Johnson. And he gives it some air. Reid, also a good player this year. Can't mark it. McGlynn couldn't break through the traffic. Parker tries to get a handball out. Desperate times at the moment. Parker still trying to bury his way through. Hunt under siege. Meredith collects it, but they collect him. Dump to the turf. And the umpire will sort it out.
Love to get their big forwards into the game, Geelong, but Oddsy Ardley and Hawkins, 2 possessions each and 2 behinds between them.
Alden's the knockdown. Ling. Call that a kick if you like. Menzel. A longer one to the wing. It's wide. And Hawkins fumbles that across the line. Ball in. 4-1 plays 2-6. A while since the Cats have been down by 7 points. Early stages of the second term here. Kelly caught by Goods. He seemed to drop that. Smith caught a little high. Got the kick away. Goods gets it to Jude Bolton. To Jack. Sidesteps a couple. Tries a clever kick inside 50. McGlynn off some hands. Hands it up. White to Reid. Has the snap. They lead by 13.
Well, you're not going to hear a lot of atmosphere here at Skilled Stadium because the big crowd here is shell-shocked. They are so used to listening and watching and being a part of massacres here where Geelong just thumped the opposition. They don't know what to make of this. A very stagnant performance from Geelong to start this match, and Sydney are just making the opportunities happen when they go forward. They're creating shots at goal, and importantly, they're finishing.
John Longmire, 2 coaches in their first year head-to-head. John Longmire, Chris Scott, 2 coaches taking over from premiership coaches. So tough jobs for both of them. Right now they look both finals bound. Chapman to half forward. Joel Selwood really the only one who wanted that. Round 150. Don't get it. Over the head of Mackey. Keeps it in just. And he spins beautifully on Hanbury. Kick not so good. O'Keefe. Finally the crowd finds some voice. In front of the members. Beautiful new members stand here at Skilled Stadium. To the wing. West with the leap. Got a knuckle on it. Parker back of the pack. Kelly. Rowan tracked him down. Caught him. Handball up. Rolls out of play. He's done well since coming on. Gary Rowan. Crucial goal. Having an impact.
Mumford nearly went the wrong side of the interchange then.
Kelly rolls a kick through Wachinski. McLean. And that'll do. That'll bounce out of play. It won't be deliberate. It'll be a ball in. The Swans can reset from the ball in, and they have been one of the best clearance teams in the comp this year.
And they look like they're winning the territorial battle in the second term now.
White does the ruck work against West. And
Over
gets
the
one for
shoulder.
too high.
Well, this is a great opportunity to open up a bit of breathing space. 5-1, so the complete opposite of last week when they were wasteful in front of goals. Couldn't find someone to kick it between the big white sticks. Now they get an opportunity to kick their 6th goal from just 7 scoring shots.
The Man Mountain.
See those flags, boys? They're going to the right, so he's going to go inside here. It'll need to.
Inside left post, all right. He does, and it feeds back, and he hits that post that he aimed for.
Well, he started it too far, didn't he? He gave away all of the goals. And really drove the ball hard.
Yeah, it's all about the weight of your kick as well, depending on where you aim. Hunt, short. Chapman. Under siege right now, the Cats. Straight down the middle. Reid sits under it. Hands to it, but knocked down by Stokes to Varco. through the legs of Podsiadly.
Nutmeg.
Mucks up for it. Bartel wants to come back into the corridor. Varco, the half volley. Umpire says no, play on. Gets it off to Steve Johnson, who hasn't had an impact there.
Dropped it. Cole.
And that should have been ball.
Yeah, he was looking to create something, Steve Johnson. In the end, dropped it. Cole, a really good tackle. Josh Kennedy should have been rewarded. Have a look at this. He thought about it, and then he doesn't dispose of it properly.
The umpire was on the wrong side, boys.
There are three of them out there. Mumford tie up. Oh, there's your even or upper. Mumford gets the free. Ty Kennelly pokes it wide. Meredith's got a couple to beat here for the Swans, and Hunt gets there first. Chapman, Scarlett, Selwood, Hunt waited for the bounce but read it beautifully. This is the kick that's important to Ottens. Manhandled, gets a free, and he'll line up from 25 out.
Well, that's the pressure of playing on an imposing player the size of Brad Ottens does. Heath Grundy was just, he felt like he was getting monstered. He had to grab him with both arms and push him out of the way. Seen those let go as well at different stages, but you play in front, you get the benefit of the doubt.
Swans have kicked the last 3 goals of the game. Huge kick this, directly out.
Shank.
Horrendous.
That is typical of Geelong's day thus far.
Exactly what I was just thinking. If he misses this, he's one of the best set shot kicks in the game. They are genuinely 100% off.
Yeah, kicked 13 goals, 6 coming into this week, so he is one of the best set shots and kicks at goal the Cats have got. Mumford crashes the pack. He's starting to grow on his own old home turf. Shane Mumford. Ling. Menzel. Podsiadly and Ottens. Richards got a fist on it, as he so often does. Varco keeps it alive. Stokes tucked into the pocket. Handballs it in. Knocked down. Ottens tries to thread a handball through. Varco spins out of a jam. Kicks to full forward. Off hands. Still a chance. Hawkins has tried to pick that up on the go. Gang tackled by 3 Swans. Ball didn't try hard enough and shows his displeasure.
Normally when you stand up, you're okay.
The crowd getting even more restless now. Adam Goods, half tackled, takes them on, keeps it in. Selwood, Taylor, crowd starting to roar. Turnover, they won't like that. Mumford takes the mark in front of West. Sydney by 13. Jack to Spanger. Too far out to score. Hanbury runs inside 50. Gary Rowan runs to the square. It's his ball. He sits under it. Bartel's there. And well read, Bartel. A great overhead mark for his size. Handed back to him. Menzel's hurt behind play. Lonergan. Cats don't want to take some time here. They want to play on quickly. Lonergan, Bartel, Goods. He shrugs Goods. Rolls a kick. Poor kick. Parker spins onto it. Kicks a goal. Can't land the blow.
Well, I think that right there is indicative of the sort of day Geelong's having. They just kept handballing to blokes in trouble. Didn't end up clearing the footy. Jimmy Bartel eventually has to just hurriedly kick it along the ground openly in their defensive 50 and creates a shot at goal for Sydney. Biggers is right, they're not on. They're not on at all. It's going to be interesting to see whether they can get themselves out of this funk.
Mackie couldn't even kick the ball to himself then. Huge leap, Johnson. In fact, it was West over the top. Couldn't bring it down. Chapman does to Burns. To half forward. Hawkins.
That's got to be a free kick, that one.
Bumped off it. Umpire says it was a free against Grundy. So the Tomahawk descended along. Steve Johnson on the march. Stokes also inside 50. Stokes takes the mark in front of Johnson. And the sharpshooter can line up.
While that was unfolding, Heath Grundy was having a chat to the umpire. He's given away 2 free kicks the last 2 contests against big-bodied players in Ottens and Hawkins. Just asking for clarification from the umpire.
And Stokes was at that contest, and that's his work rate. Once the ball hits the deck and he can see an advantage his way, he takes off. Reece Shaw was caught napping. Ted Richards did try and cover off for him, but Stokes was way too quick.
Should start this a little right as well. Let's kick 2 behinds. He doesn't. He just spears it straight through the middle. Please stop by the grandstand, and it's an 8-point game.
Well, one of the first times that Geelong has been able to get in behind the defence in this quarter of the Sydney Swans. You see Stokes there. He was at the contest when the free kick was paid, was able to work back. And as I said, Teddy Richards was there. He tried to help his teammates out and cover off. Just didn't have the speed to go with Stokes. And it was a very good finish and a much-needed goal by the Cats just to create some excitement in this stadium.
Outside, Kieran. Outside, sir. Track back here, guys. Thanks, guys.
First goal of the second term for Geelong. Played 14 minutes. Ling. Handball, but straight to Matner. About to get caught. Gone. Larko crept up on him. Play on advantage. Kelly over the top. Stokes lines them up. Centering kick. Bumped on the kick. No free.
Downfield. Downfield.
So was the bump after he kicked it?
Well, that's what the umpire's saying. Be interesting to have a look at that on replay.
Thought the bump almost affected the kick.
Yes, I agree, Dwayne.
So you're talking about a spark there as we have a look at the replay, boys. I reckon...
That's slow motion as well.
The Travis Varco chase is a sort of spark that could get them all going here.
Yeah, they need efforts like that, Pickers, you're right, because they're not just doing it on their pure skill and magic today. They're going to have to pull out a little bit of grunt work to get the job done today.
For 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Cats. Jimmy Bartell kicked 19 goals, 5 this year. Never wastes it. It's a 2-point game.
And once again, Matty Stokes was involved in that passage of play. And you just look here, sees the free kick again, sees that his teammate has laid a fantastic tackle.
Turns him in the tackle. That's what gets the free kick.
Exactly right there, Jason. You see Stokes is then, he's out, he's gone. Very dangerous forward. He's had a great game so far. The 12 disposals got on the scoreboard and now set up one as well.
Bright sunshine. Skilled Stadium crowd getting something to cheer about. Altons reaches over the top. Kennedy. Mumford stole it from him. Caught. Ridden a little in the tackle. Ridden too much. Free kick to the Mummy. To Goods. Into trouble.
It's a poor handball.
Forced to handball it away and gets it back from O'Keefe. Handball to half forward. Cut off by Wachinski. Selwood, another free for too high.
He does draw them, Dwayne.
He does?
It's amazing.
Chapman, a wobbly torpedo. Johnson bumped under it. Steve Johnson gets there first. Cannoned into by O'Keefe. Ottens, Kelly, turnover, Grundy. Got the runner on the outer side, Meredith. Nice trap. The one hand down. Spanger at half forward. Lonergan right with him. Free kick to Spanger.
See, that's an unnecessary one to give away. Got him pinned hard against the boundary.
This is 3rd game for the year. 3rd game for Sydney, Matt Spanger. Another playing for his footy life. Heads to the top of the square. Rowan! Front spot. It wasn't intended for him. Spectacular grab.
Yeah, he's got some excitement about him, hasn't he, Gary Rowan?
Grew up all his life with the nickname Lingy because of his red hair, living down here in the Western District of Geelong.
He's not standing the mark, but Josh Hunt's actually his opponent. Just allowed him to run and jump at the footy.
Kicked a splendid goal in the opening term, and that just as important. Sydney back out by 8.
Well, they continue to put the Geelong defence under pressure, and that's something that we haven't seen too often this year, Jono. You just see Josh Hunt just lets him run and jump, and he stays down to rove the loose ball. But if your man goes, you've got to go with him.
That's right, you've got to crash that pack along with everyone else involved in the contest. Make sure your direct opponent doesn't get an easy run and jump at the contest. And he's been a little bit of a spark today, is Gary Rowan.
Getting sick of this rule, Dwayne. Kick a goal, have to come off.
Especially when you're as hot as Gary Rowan is.
Don't like it.
Maybe that's why he's off, because he is hot. It is a warm day and a high rotation kind of day. 8-point lead to the Swans. West, palm down. Chapman had it but lost it. Kennedy lays a tackle and we'll get a secondary ball up inside the centre circle.
It's interesting, we saw Ben McGlynn tag Joel Selwood in the first term. In the second quarter, it's been Adam Goods and Selwood really going head-to-head. And that's been an interesting battle.
West, straight down. Chapman, Hogsy-Adley tries to drive his way through. Sydney win, they're in. They're playing the finals this year. Don't want to have to wait until next week at the SCG against the Lions. Try and work it all out. Free kick out of the middle. It's a Swans ball. Play on advantage. O'Keefe pumps it inside 50 to the back. Everybody spills. It's rolling towards goal. Jude Bolton thought about off the deck. Hands it back. Spanger smothered. Behind.
Well, there were 6 players that all went to ground. There were 3 pairs contesting, and it was just like knocking the pins over at the bowling alley. They all went down.
There's still a cat down, and he's in the hands of trainers. The stretcher might be coming out. Bad news for Geelong. The good news, Burns just gets the kick away. Shaw, half back. Harry Taylor still in the hands of trainers. Shuffled out to Shaw. Into the shadows, Shaw. Johnson. Against the line, West. Not the spot for a torpedo, and they will have to stop play here. Harry Taylor still being held by 5 trainers out there with him.
Well, they haven't signalled for it yet. I see him. It's hard to tell.
Looks like he might just got an accidental elbow when the hat collapsed.
I think it's his neck. They're saying it's his neck, so they will have to stop play here for his own safety. The ball's about to come to where he is. Spanger to Meredith. Hands it up. McGlynn. Bump. Little fumble. Surely the umpires need to quickly call the ball up here and stop
the
play.
trainers just had a chat
Yeah, the trainers have got to signal to the umpire. If they want the stretcher, they've got to tell the umpire. No, he's up on his feet, Harry Taylor.
Okay, so Michael Vozzo's just said, no, we'll keep playing.
Well, I think he's shaken. Let's have a look. He gets friendly fire. It's the left arm of Tom Lonergan that comes over and collects him on the head. Shook him up a bit.
It's 18 plays 17 right now. The Swans have the extra man. Harry Taylor slowly walking off with the trainers. And now he gets a jog up, but he doesn't look well. Round of applause for HT. Slightly eccentric, cognac-drinking, German-speaking war buff that he is. The crowd love him down here. Varco to half forward. Grundy. Ball eludes him. Smith hands it back to Shaw. Dances his way past a couple and Richards can get and go. 40 plays 31. Swans by 9. O'Keefe to Grundy. Swans about to go forward again. Jude Bolton half held. Mumford with the palm down. Mackie trying hard to get rid of it. The umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Thanks, Andrew. Cheers, mate.
Ticked into time on second term. 21 and a half minutes gone.
You've got to understand,
Mumford. Knocked down against West. Selwood tried to manufacture a handball. The Swans know they're in this up to their eyeballs. Too high. Free kick Cats. Court's just caught him a little high with Chinsky.
Sure, there's a bit going off the ball. McGlynn's gone back onto Selwood now for a run and really working him off the ball. A couple of little arms being swung at each other there.
Hawkins, ball bounces past them. Matner can't get there before Johnson, who hands to Hogsy-Adley. Bump, but gets the kick away and it's wide. Doesn't score.
Had Stokes in the goal square if he could have hooked it back as well. Needed to do better there on his natural foot.
Doesn't really matter second and third. We mentioned that earlier in the term. Second and third will play each other in the first week of the finals at the MCG, Geelong and Hawthorn. But it does matter the form you go into the finals with. So it might not be as important for Geelong today as it is for the Swans, but at the moment they're not playing the kind of footy they'd like to carry into the finals.
Well,
they've got Collingwood next week, which won't help their cause of getting some form back.
Won't be easy, and Ty Kennelly would love some form back at the moment too. He was a late inclusion after getting dropped. It just looks a shadow of his former self Lacks that yard of pace and that confidence that he had when he was up and running.
Podgiadli from 4 deep. Gee, that was a great mark, Mumford. He stood in the hole knowing the traffic was coming. Loopy handball made it impossible for Grundy, so he tries to mop up his own mess here, Mumford. Ties the ball in, keeps it there for a second. Ling runs through a couple, throws it out. Stokes tries to pull a high free from Kennelly. Nothing doing. Kennedy gets it out of the area. Reed got an arm slap it, no free. Jude Bolton attacks it hard, dives in, ties it up. Umpire Vozzo on the spot, says gone. Jude Bolton's ball. The crowd restless again. Meredith's out wide. He needs to go. Hunt tracking him down. Free kick for an arm slap. Meredith hands it up. Hanbury short. Tries to bounce it to Rowan. Scarlett got there first. Not a lot to go to by foot. Goes to Kelly by hand. Shrugs Reed. Comes to Varco. Meredith knocks it away. Swans still a chance. Meredith gets it out but hands it over. Menzel to the wing. Hawkins caught behind. Got a punch. Grundy back onto it first. Thought about going through his legs. Hawkins, Shaw, Grundy. Umpire Vozzo to sort it out. 4 minutes 16 on the clock. Mumford again. Ran into his own man, Bartel. Parker through some traffic. Kick smothered. Game's just lifted a cog in the last minute or so. The Cats' intensity lifting.
Little bloke in the way of a big bloke.
Little bloke will argue the big bloke's in his way.
Adam Goods caught a little high. Wanted the free, doesn't get it.
It's interesting to watch both Goods and Selwood at the stoppies. They try to just hit the stoppies with real pace. Goods has done it a couple of times and done it well, so they're really on the move, the both of them.
Wobbly ball up. Ottens reaches over the top. McGlynn caught by Kelly. Not a kick. Ottens through some legs. Jude Bolton tries. Mumford does. McGlynn got it out, but straight to Wojcinski, who runs. He's sizing up the big sticks. He hands it off. Steve Johnson from 50. Little fumble. Tackled by Shaw. Dragged down. That's legged. Free kick to Grundy.
Well, Wojcinski tried to take him on and draw an opponent. He had that quick release to Steve Johnson. First option was there straight away, and they would have been able to run right inside 50.
Sydney has not won here for over 12 years. It's been a long time in the waiting. But they're right in this contest. Steve Johnson wide. Burns, bouncing ball. Shaw overcommitted. Burns kept his feet and goals. 3-point game.
Hasn't made too many mistakes of late, Rhys Shaw, but he just overcommitted. He took himself out of the contest and he didn't take the man or the ball. The little kick from Johnson wasn't a particularly good one. It should have been taken over the boundary line, either the ball, man, or both, but he lost his balance and didn't make contact with either, unfortunately, Rhys Shaw, and that allowed Shannon Burns just to pick it up and stroll in and kick an easy goal.
Daniel Menzel having a chat to the doctor at the moment about how many fingers he can see and exactly where he can see it.
Is that part of the concussion test, Dwayne?
Yeah, have to do some colouring in tests at half-time and put some blocks in some holes, build a ship. Mumford through some traffic. Kennedy to half forward. Scarlett half held. Wins himself a free. Cats could still take the lead in at half-time here inside 3 minutes to the main break. So Harry Taylor off and maybe for the game. Neither sub's been used yet. Alan Christensen and Craig Bird, the two subs. As a rest, 2 minutes 18 left. 9-point lead to Sydney. Daniel Hanbury was 8 years old the last time the Swans won here. Gary Rowan was 6. 12 years. Been a long drought. Kelly, kick smothered. McGlynn. O'Keefe, kick smothered. Kelly through some traffic nicely. Kelly of old. West, hand on it, almost the mark. Ted Richards. What a couple of weeks he's having. Heads out wide. Meredith's ball bounced unkindly. Out of play, a win for the Swans. Tony Lockett kicked 6 goals.
We just had a look at Mumford here. That's at the centre bounce, Dwayne, and he's very, very close. Something I don't think the umpires are looking at too much these days, but he's flirting with danger there.
So you're not allowed to touch any part of the line, John?
No.
Well, then he was on it then.
There you go. Jack hands it up. Shaw from 70 spears it to Reid.
They are opening Geelong up when they go forward. This has been impressive from Sydney.
That's it. Yeah, he's on it.
Got a big spread of goal kickers at the moment. Last time they won here, they kicked 21 goals for the game, and Lockett kicked 6 of them. And right now, they're getting a good spread, great players, and they're making a statement in the shadows of half-time. Reid from the paint. Spins with that breeze. Don't read it well enough.
So he looks a player with an enormous future, though, Sam Reid. He leads well, got a beautiful pair of hands. He's very tall, long arms, good agility. A lot to like about the way he plays the game.
At every game this year, they're fantastic inclusions. Sam Reid. This is a big kick in. Hunt drives it long. Steve Johnson attacks it. Kelly off hands. Seconds continue to roll. Cats break through. Stokes. Chapman is given up to West as the runner. Tries the short slipper to Podsiadly. Didn't quite work initially. Handball up to Christensen, so they've used their sub, the Cats.
Yep.
Looks like Harry Taylor's done for the day. Christensen's kick smothered out of play.
He might be one of those players to give them a spark too, Christensen. He's a bit of a favourite down here as we see Harry in the rooms.
Okay.
Looks okay.
Yeah.
No red vest.
Almost a smile on the face.
Is he supposed to have the vest on down there? Goods, short. Turnover, Hunt. 30 seconds left.
Going to keep an eye on that bench. I can't quite see it from you boys, but it might be that Menzel was the man who's got the red vest on.
Yeah, we'll check that out. Andrew Mackie. Adam Good stands in the hole. Goes up. Kelly. Down to 12 seconds. Christensen. Back to Kelly. They need a mark from this to Cats. If there will be a chance to the score, they don't get it. Ted Richards again. Dangerous kick, but it's okay. Half-time here at Skilled Stadium, and the natives are a little restless. Sydney by 10 points. They led at quarter time by 2. They led at half-time by 10. And the Cats, who've won the past 29 games here at Skilled Stadium, haven't lost here for over 4 years, have a hold to dig themselves out of. 7-5-47 to 5-7-37.